Hello and welcome to another video from In3D Software. Today I want to look at how we can make a small pedestal unit for an office environment. A bit of a speed challenge. Let's just see how quickly we can knock up this little product, and then once we've got it all designed and ready to go, we'll push it into production and we'll see how quickly we can get this thing made. So I've quickly sketched out my design in here. So I've got it overall 620 deep, 650 high. I've got equal draw fronts with 30mm finger pulls. I've got them set back so I can't see inside my drawer boxes. I want this with a nice grain matching material all the way through, and about 500 wide, but we'll make it parametric. So I'll just pull this over to one side and we'll go to the design tab, and straight away we want our height. We said 650. Our width 500, depth we want 620. So that's going to give us our overall product. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is come straight in here and say that we do want a base. So we're going to say, yep, put an inset base on that. We want it to be front and back. So we'll go into our base principle. Do we have one set up already? Front and back. Strip height, we've got in here 100mm. That's too big. Let's say that's 50mm. So we'll just make a new principle in here, change that to be 50, 20mm, 20mm, that's fine. We need as well a top, but I want that to be an onset top with a front overhang. Now I've got one in here, front overhang bow. Let's just turn on our design in here. See, okay, so that's brought through our radius front, which I'm not a fan of. Let's see if we can just change that to just be a standard front. There we go, front overhang with a 20mm overhang. That's looking a bit better. Let's bring in a bottom, left and right. I don't want those left and rights to be edged top and bottom. Let's just see if we've got a left and a right that are edged front and back. So that would be edge 1 and 3. And we'll do that on there as well. So that would be 0, 1, 0. We want a back panel in here. Let's bring that in. That's got a nice big inset on there. And I don't necessarily want that. I want it to be edged on the bottom edge. There we go. But that's going to bring through quite a thick material. So let's just change that to be that one. There we go. 8mm. There we go. That's looking a bit better, but let's stick an edge onto that. So that would be edged on edge 4. And we'll put that onto there. There we go. So we've now got our edging tape on our bottom of our back because I want that to run long. So let's change that trim on the bottom to be long. And then we'll keep it short on the inside. That's looking nice. Let's inset this 2mm. Okay, so next thing is I want to divide this up. So let's go to virtual and say that I want this to be equal to 1 to 1. So that's going to give me 2 drawers, but I want my 30mm gaps in there as well. So let's say 30mm to 1 to 30mm. So that'll give me my zones in here. And then in my drawer zone, let's add in a drawer. We don't want that to be a kitchen drawer. We want that to be an underfloor guide. There we go. And we'll copy this and put it down into that bottom one. Now, what I want to do on this is just control my gaps on this a little bit. So if I just go into my settings in here, I can say that put my vertical gaps in there, but give me control. I want that to be a 0 gap down at the bottom, and I want a 0 gap up at the top. So I'm going to have that nice and tight to that 30mm buffer zone that I've got. And then up into this one, let's do the same. Yeah, that's looking good. And then what I want to do in here is go into my tops, and instead of a solid top in there, what I want to do is create a rail. Here we go, front vertical rail. That's far too big and I need to set it back. So let's save a copy of this. Front vertical rail, inset, edge top and bottom, that's fine. We don't want a back inset, we want a front inset of, let's say 25mm, I think. And let's say overall this is a 50mm rail. sort of match my plinth. Okay, so that's not looking too bad in here. Next thing I need to do is change those dimensions. So I need a 50mm rail with a distance of 25 to the front. Bearing in mind, these could all obviously be parametric variables if I wanted to, so that would make it a lot easier to change designs and go through a design revision process if need be. But for now, I know what I want, so I'm just going to copy that up into the top section in there as well. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. Let's just click tick on this and have a quick look. So I've got some handles, and yeah, I think that probably is a bit too deep now that I've seen it in real life. Let's maybe drag that in a little bit. So I can use stretch to kind of stretch this in and say overall I want that to be 550 rather than 650 deep. Let's just take off 100mm. So it's not looking too bad. And then what I want to do is just make sure that my draw boxes aren't clashing in here, because you can see I've got equal front working. And let's take off those handles as well, because now that I've got my finger pulls, I don't need those. Okay, so if we go into the modify article, what I want to do is click on that draw box in there and then come into the section where I can now control my top distance. So let's say that's 30 and 30 on the top there, and do this as finger pull. So I've now got a new variant in here, and I don't want any handles on there, so let's take those off. And what else do I want? I think that's okay for now. So let's click apply on that and swap that draw out. So just a quick copy and paste to drop it down onto the lower section. We can go in and visualize this as well. So yeah, let's get rid of my handles. We're not clashing on our rails. I think this is looking to be nearly done now. Let's just change some materials and increase our level of detail. I think I'll change some fittings as well. So let's go into a realistic view. So I've got a white and grey combo in here. I wanted draw fronts that have got, you know, some nice wood grain on there, same all the way through. So let's go into our options. We'll go to getting started, basic data, the materials for the carcass. And in here, let's go and drop in classic walnut, which is my favorite. Where's that? There it is. And let's have that for our fronts. And you know what? Let's go into our draw fronts as well, our draw materials, and we'll have that as our draw material as well. So let's go into draw case, and we'll put that material in there, and we'll drag down a 2mm walnut on there as well. Let's click apply on that. Yeah, this is looking a lot better now, I think. We've got this stringer in here. I don't think that's required. It's not too heavy, so let's just modify that quickly and take that out. So we go into our base. Let's take, yeah, we don't need those stringers in there, just strengthening that up. That's looking a little bit better. And then for our carcass material, we've got this thinner edge on there. I want it all to be edged out the same material as well. So let's increase our level of detail. And let's just take off our draw fronts. So we've got our draw back and our draw bottom. They need to be changed to be white as well, but everything else is looking good. So let's just do that quickly. So we've got our basic data for our draws and our back. Again, we want that to be the 18mm with the 2mm walnut, and the bottom to also be the 18mm. And we don't have any edging on the bottom, that's fine. Let's go to our carcass. Let's just beef up that edging tape on there rather than the 0.3mm melamine. Let's go for a 2mm ABS. Yeah, that's not looking too bad, I don't think now. Let's get a quick exploded view on that. It's okay, this cam is an issue in here, so we're going to need to remedy that. I can set this so that these are spaced out a little bit more, but I think what we'll do is just go straight to a dowel construction. Just going to make that a little bit nicer because it'll be all hidden then. Oh, actually, let's do cam and dowel. So if we come into here, I'll modify this. And what I want to do is come into my rail and I'm going to change that to be C2, which is going to give me the option to then have a different variable to my primary carcass. So I'll copy you down into here and paste, and then on my bases as well, I want you to also be C2. So let's bring in a C2 variant on that, and then in here we want a C2 variant. So I've got one of each now, which is kind of cool. Let's get that into here and into here. So obviously once all of my data is set up, it's ready to go, and I can just use it whenever I need to. So let's apply that, tick. And then what we'll do is we'll go into our article related variables, and we'll go to our construction connectors, connection situation, and C1 left, I want that to be cam and dal. Where am I looking? Cam and dal. Could just type cam. Let's go into the library because I can't remember the name of it. Dal cam, not dal, not cam dal. Same thing. And then in here, C2, I just want these to be dal. Okay, what else do we want in here? Handles are off, they're fine. Draw fronts, they're fine as well. Okay, so because my dals are going reverting to default, let's just select those spacings. So I'll select the part, and in here you can see I have my dal spacing in here. So I want to go to dal for cam, and in there I want to change that now so that if it's greater than or equal to 50, there we go. That's better, but what? My cam's on the outside. Oh, running out of time here. Gonna have to be quick. C1. Let's just have a quick refresh. Oh, not copy. Right click, refresh. Okay, there we go. Let's get into wireframe view. Those dials are looking pretty close, but I think we'll be okay on the machine with that. It is a small part after all. Yeah, I think we're not looking too shabby here. Let's change my back plinth as well. That's no good. So let's modify that. Change that back plinth in there to also be just the dowel construction. Okay, this is looking nice. Let's save the job and put it into production. We'll save the order as desk ped, generate CNC data, we'll create a quotation, we'll run document manager with a preview, and if we click save, we'll run this down a BSE nesting using the new iX cam nesting route. So with this workflow, it'll generate the individual CNC files and then optimize them onto the sheet for us. So here are the results. We've also generated our link to our saw if we wanted to send anything to a saw. Here's all of our parts. You can see my grain direction, stop, location, edge number, and then when we open this up, you can see all of the individual nesting contours, drilling patterns, and then down onto the second machining, you can see that we've also now got our corresponding edge drilling for our top. And if we come all the way down to the bottom, we've got our parts nested in here. What's nice is we've got all of the bits in here that we need to then create our matching fronts and our draw box bottoms as well. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's go to the results up at the top and see what that looks like. So we're into 2 sheets, and you can see in there we've got all of the parts ready to go. Let's go to our quotation. So if we go to output and parts list, let's generate our quote and see how much this is actually going to cost us as well. So £259, maybe a little bit expensive. Thanks for watching.